What's up, YouTube? We are back here at Site A. Gonna make you guys a little update here. Turn that down a little bit. So you guys can see, ow, damn it. We are banging Orgavitas here. Got them all hung up. And I have one on right now because the ACs that I ordered are lagging it. I had some complications with the company. It was supposed to be a store drop-off, store pickup type deal. And whatever, it was just some processing error and things like that. I went ahead and just canceled the order and reordered them through Amazon, and that way it's for sure they get delivered. They were like 50 bucks each more expensive on Amazon, but I'm willing to pay for that then rather than having to deal with the headache of having to go through all the bullshit. So we're fully set up. You guys can see our tables are fully set up, both of them. They have about 1.25 inch decline, and everything's essentially the same. We're gonna do 24 plants per table. There's 24 drippers, so that's gonna be 8 rows of 3. If I decide that I want to run smaller plants, I can always put a couple more lines, install a couple more dripper lines, things like that. But I don't know if I've ever showed the dripper system, but it's pretty simple here, guys. Oh, yeah. So I'm just hooked up to a little giant. There. Hooked up to a little giant. And that comes up to this, which I can control the water pressure so that way it doesn't fill these up too fast and wind up not wall. Number one is to make sure that, let me shut these fans off, guys, they're right in the damn camera. Okay, yeah, so number one is I don't want them spraying everywhere because they're gonna be on the floor flex. I want them to dribble. I don't want them to wash out everything in a nutrient solution. And number two is because the timers that I have are 1 minute intervals. I haven't found anything that's less than that. There probably is something out there that's less than 1 minute intervals, but that's what I have and that's what I've worked with, and that's works fine for me. It gives me about 20 to 25% runoff. I know recommended with Rockwell is 15, but I like 20 to 25 to make sure that everything's getting fully washed out, stuff like that, you know. I do tend to also later in the flowering cycle, about weeks 4 and 5, once we get to 3 waterings a day, I'll go ahead and turn that nozzle and just turn down the pressure on everything just a little bit. Since we're going to be watering 3 times, I feel like they don't need as much water per watering, and I don't want to be wasting unnecessary nutrients, unnecessary water, things like that. So we just go ahead and mitigate it by adjusting. That's what that little thing there is for, to pretty much to adjust to our 1 minute intervals that we water at. I want them to be a reasonable amount of water, you know. So what else, guys? Right now, as I said, the ACs are lagging it, so what I did was I'm just gonna hook up one Gavita, test run it tonight, because the ACs ain't gonna be here for another 5 days or so, and I really need to get running. But I'm gonna test, like I said, I'm gonna test run tonight and see if one Gavita here is enough to sustain the temperature. I mean, is not, whatever, you guys get what I'm saying. If the temperature can hold at about 75 to 80 degrees in here overnight with the Gavita at full blast, which is right now at 600 watts, which will be enough to bring, I could probably fit a good 50 plants right there, you know, underneath that one light. And if I have to turn it up, it's not going to be that much because the lights are so high. So if I can get it to hold temperature tonight, I'm gonna go ahead and just bam, we're gonna start vegging ASAP and just get this ball rolling, because I got big projects coming up within the next 5 days, and I don't want to be stuck having to be transplanting and worrying about the plants and making sure that the environment's stable and all that. I'd rather do that all this week and spend next week doing everything else that I need to do. Like I said, we're pretty much set up. All this crap's gonna wind up staying here. I'm probably gonna put a piece of Panda paper right here. I mean, that ventilation is gonna get used once we bring in the ACs, because I'm gonna have the outtake hoses hooked up to it, and they're gonna run into that. So if you guys are wondering what the hell that is, that over there, It has a plastic bag on it right now, but that's just because we have that one outtake fan running because I want to try to keep it cool in here. So inside that box is a can filter, so similar to this one, but it's smaller, obviously. And there is a vent about that size underneath it that goes directly to the roof. And so inside of that box is the can filter, completely sealed with about like 7 mil plastic, completely sealed to the roof, and with tape and all that. And then I put that box there and also sealed that. I put the box there just for extra support and just whatever, so it has that extra box to be able to, if I do get a leak in there somehow underneath with the plastic, it'll have that extra box sealed up to be able to hold the air before it can get up and out that vent. I don't think it's going to be necessary for me to run a fan on the outtakes with the ACs. They should have enough pressure behind them to just go ahead and push right on out. But if I notice that there's a lot of back pressure in the hose, in the piping and the hose and stuff like that, then I might just put a fan in there just to assist it, so I'm not overworking the ACs and then fucking the ACs go to shit, you know? Because number one, the ACs aren't used to having to go through a filter on the outtake, and that's what they're going to be having to do, and it's just going to cause more back pressure. I'm just hoping that they're efficient enough that they're not going to have any problem pushing that hot air through the filter, you know? Anyway, we'll see how that works out. That's my best idea to keep the smell down from the ACs, because they're portable ACs, and the outtake, it's just gonna smell. It's just gonna smell, and there's nothing really else we can do about it. I can have as many carbon filters in here as I want, circulating air, but the air's still gonna smell, and so is the air going out of the AC. So to mitigate that, that was my plan. We'll see how it goes. I was gonna build like a big old plywood box and all this elaborate shit, but I really didn't feel like I had like taken the time to do it. So that seemed more logical because the plastic was gonna really be able to seal to the ceiling, you know. Anyway, yeah. Oh, also another thing. See over here. So my problem of having a short table, short tables in general, having 8-foot ceilings, and only building my tables about 1 foot tall, is that you guys can see that they don't sell much trays that are that short, you know, and are gonna be able to fit in this little area right here. This is only maybe 2 feet, 2.5 feet, you know. So I could hook up 2 of them. Okay, sorry about that, guys. My memory card got full. So anyways, like I was saying, I could hook up 2 of these and put a pipe between them, but I didn't really want to deal with that. So what I'm going to do is hook that up to a timer that's going to be going to pretty much turn on as soon as these tables start watering. And that pump will turn on for the 1 minute of the watering, and then stay on for an additional 3 minutes for the drain, because as the tables begin to drain, they're gonna leave more water in the bucket, you know, as far as when the rock wool starts letting out the last of its drips and all that, and I don't need that thing overflowing. Also gonna have the dehumidifier hooked up. It's that tube right there is pretty much just gonna get shoved into the rain gutter right there and placed in there so it doesn't leak anywhere. And pretty much with that, I'm gonna have a setting on here to go on. It'll go on like, I'm thinking like twice a day. Honestly, out of this room before, when I was running soil, which soil is more wet and stays more wet, and my plants were much bigger and I had a lot of plants shoved in there, I was barely pulling like at maximum settings, only pulling about 5 gallons of water out of there. That's a 11-gallon tote, so you know, max a day, 5 gallons. I'm thinking twice a day I have that thing turn on for 1 minute and just clear out. It pretty much runs up this line all the way up through here, back up and around. Those are my reservoirs there, and then into the sink. Hold on 1 second. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so I got the RO system all hooked up, ready to go, and we should get this thing banging. Other than that, I guess I will talk to you guys as soon as we're done transplanting, and we'll see you at the other side, I guess. But just to show you, I set up a little Rockwell cube here so you guys can see, get a general sense of what it's going to look like. We're going to have 8 stacked up right there and get this show on the road. Until next time, guys, as always, happy farming. Peace.